I don't think he gets enough credit for his scramble ability. When he scrambles, it usually leads to a big play. Does a great job of getting down and just, moving the chains, keeping them efficient, keeping them on schedule. And again, when he does scramble, it usually leads to a big play. So very physical group, and we got to match that physicality for sure. So again, top 10 offense in 3 or 4 categories, and going to be a huge challenge for us, but something we're excited about. And then defensively, same thing. Got a bunch of guys back. They lost the 2 ends from last year, but the 2 guys in there, they played a lot, played a ton of experience. They were really good players across the board, 5'8", 10, and 87. And 8 is one of the more disruptive players that we've seen on tape. He is a really, really good football player. Played a lot as a freshman last year, but he's a guy that really knows how to play the game, and it's impressive when you watch him on tape. But the biggest thing with them is they're an aggressive group. I mean, they're going to force the issue. They don't give you any opportunity to figure things out. They're not a group that's going to sit around and wait on anything to happen. They're gonna challenge you, and they're a 4-3, 4 press man type of team, and we'll mix it up on some third down stuff, but they're very aggressive and confident in what they do. Very experienced in the secondary. 21 didn't play against us last year, but he's a great player. He is a great player. 9, 31, and 14. Same thing. Again, a lot of experience, a lot of confidence in what they do. They're very physical and very aggressive at linebacker. Do a great job in all areas. So it's a complete team. Kicking game, I think they've had, and since Pat's been there, I think they've had 7 kick returns for touchdowns. They've had some punt returns as well. So this is a really good group, just a complete football team. And the one game that they lost was kind of a weird game. And but I tell you, since then they've really and they put some things together. But went to Tennessee and had a heck of a win there. Got down early and roared back and really. Did a great job on the road. So then go on the road against V-Tech in that environment as well. Again, I think that shows the poise of this quarterback and the experience of their team. So big challenge, but again, we're excited about it, looking forward to it. Biggest game of the year. And if we're going to, be the best version of ourselves this year that we can be right now, this is a game that we got to go play our best game in for sure. Because this will be the biggest challenge to this point.
Yeah, but last year, defensively, y'all did a pretty good job against Pitt and Pickett. Just what was the key then, and what do you have to try to do to slow them down?
Well, we turned them over. We turned them over early. I thought that they had some. Now they had, I think, 3 linemen kind of playing in their first game. They had some guys out last year against us, and that's a little different story this year. But we affected them. And I think he's a rhythm thrower, man. You can't let this guy sit there and get comfortable. I mean, he's just too good. He's too good. He knows where everybody's going. He sees everything. He's seen every coverage. He's like Skowski playing linebacker, right? I mean, you just don't fool that guy. So he's very confident, and he's got really good players around him that have a lot of experience too. But we turned him over was the biggest thing early. And I think that and then we made a bunch of plays. We capitalized on the turnovers, and then we got them behind because we hit some huge plays in this game. But the turnovers were critical. We sacked him. We were able to win get some pressure on him, and get him on the ground, and just get him a little out of rhythm. But I think right out of the gate, I think it was Malcolm Green right out of the gate with a big pick on him. So you just got to get them behind the chains and don't let them be efficient. And you got to win the matchup up front. And I thought we did a good job of that last year. But the story of the game was turnovers. We were +4 in the margin against them, number one, and then number two, we played really, really well offensively, really, really well.
From your perspective, Dabo, what is the biggest difference in this version of Pickett that has him playing at the level he's playing at?
Yeah, well, again, I think that offensive line is a very experienced group, and he's playing with a lot of confidence behind them. You know, they're doing a good job, and just, you know, he's just a really freed up player. You know, he's a 6-year guy. He's very confident. He's incredibly well coached, and he's you know, again, as I always say, there's no greater teacher than experience. And he's got all this experience to draw upon, and he's applying all the lessons that he's learned throughout his career, and you just see that. I mean, and when you're in a system as long as he is, you understand all the nuances, you know, and that's kind of where, you know, that's kind of where we are right now. We got some guys that we need to be in calculus, and we're still doing some arithmetic over here, and we got some that can do calculus, but it's just not all on the same page. You know, they've got a very experienced group. You know, these receivers, very good players, but this OL has played a lot of football as well. Again, they're all juniors and seniors, and I think that's the number one thing is just the confidence that he has up front, and then just his knowledge. The game is very slow to him, and as it should be for a really talented, you know, 6-year. This guy's an NFL player. There's no doubt about that, and very accurate thrower, so that's the biggest thing I see in him. Very confident. Not that he wasn't confident last year. I just think that he's just got they're a little bit more of a complete group than the team we saw last year.
Dabo, I think Tony said yesterday he thinks the players on offense on his side are pressing a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, have you seen that yourself, and how do you kind of get them stopped?
I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, you know, how else do you explain some of the things that you see, you know, from some of our best players? And I just think, you know, it's just kind of human nature, and especially in today's world. You know, when I was coming up, somebody just, you know, maybe wrote a bad article in the local newspaper, and you know, that was about it. And you hoped your grandmother didn't read it or something. You know, still had the people at the barbershop, but now all the people at the barbershop have a national forum, you know, and all the media sees it. So, you know, that's all they get right now is how bad they are, and, you know, how much their coaches stink, and, you know, and how terrible, you know, this. I mean, that's all they get. And so, but that's just comes with it. And as a young person, you got to learn how to block that stuff out, you know, that noise, and you know, because if you don't, you get burdened down and you try to do too much, and you get outside of things, and then you're not playing free, and next thing you know, it's you know, just the weight of the world's on you, and so yeah, I don't think there's any question that this group offensively is you know, burdened, you know, by disappointment. You know, expectations, outside noise, and as a coach, you fight that. That's what you have to fight all the time. But you know, it's a very loud world we live in, and if you don't put your armor on every day and stay inside out, it can, you know, as I always say, ships don't sink because of the water around them, right? They sink because the water gets in them. And you let all that garbage, you start, you know, who you going to listen to, what you going to believe. You know, that's your choice every single day. You got to, and if you let that stuff in, it will affect you. And that's why I'm really proud of what I've seen out of DJ, because I think early on he was really, I mean, he struggled the first few games, but these past 2 games, he's made a big turn. You know, his best game was his past one, and you know, we just got to be better around him. And but just something that we're fighting through right now. And the good news is we're still Clemson, and we still got a great group of guys, and you know, we got to help them fight through that. You know, because they're not very confident right now.
Is there anything y'all can do as coaches to help them execute more freely?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot we can do. that's what we're working on every day. The first thing is quit reading what y'all write. Quit listening to the radio. Quit listening to the Twitter. Get off of that mess. Stay away from that stuff. Because that stuff, it's the same thing if it's great. Either one is terrible for you. But again, you at the end of the day, this is a football team that's competed their butts off, and all we focus on is the bad. Our defense has played great championship football. Our special teams have been outstanding, and it's been a long time since our special teams are playing at a high level for us and doing some great things. So there's a lot of good, but offensively right now, and again, there's no we don't have excuses. Nobody cares. Nobody wants any excuses at Clemson, and there aren't any. We've got all we need. And everybody focuses on what we don't have. I focus on what we do have. We're it's hard to have some continuity. We got to get some continuity up front. Again, we started 8 different guys and 3 different centers, and that's frustrating, but we got to make it work. It's kind of a musical chairs in some spots, and so that can affect you a little bit. But we got what we got. And we got all we need. We just got to go and make a few of the plays that are there. And again, the plays are there. It's not like plays aren't there. We just got to execute some of the things that we're not doing a good job of, and continue to believe in the right things. And that's a choice everybody's got to make.
Do you know if Frank Ladson will be back this week, and then do you have a timetable on EJ?
I don't. Did you say EJ? EJ, I'm not sure on Frank. I'd say he's day to day. And EJ looks good. He responded well to the scope. And again, we didn't even know that was going to happen. And we finally just made a decision. I guess it was, I don't know if it was Wednesday or maybe it was Tuesday afternoon. I can't remember when we did it. We just said, you know what, we just got to scope him because he wasn't getting any better. So the good news is there was no ligament damage or anything like that. It was a good cleanup, so he's responding well. They think he's on a fast track, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks or what.
And that was his ankle.
It was his knee.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was his knee.
With Tony having indicated that Will Shipley will be back in practice this week, and I know you're optimistic in him coming back, but do you hope by Thursday to have a pretty good idea about this week for him?
Yeah, I hope so. We better. We better.
Is that reasonable, though, in other words, that maybe...
For this week, I don't know. I don't know. He got back last night moving around, as far as not being in yellow. So we'll see. We'll see where he is. I don't know. We got to go. We got to full pads today and shells tomorrow, but definitely by Thursday we'll have a little bit more of an idea of what he can do. But too early to say on that right now.
And then also on the center situation, I know the depth chart lists what it lists, but...
Yeah. Hey, I'm proud of Trotter. And again, I know everybody just thinks about the snap for 20 yards, that's a problem. But man, that kid played well. He's not played all year. He literally just got a club off his hand, and he finds out at breakfast, eating his grits, Trotter, you're starting today, big guy. He's been practicing, and he really played well. So again, 3 different centers in 6 games, and last year we didn't have hardly any depth in the OL. Our depth was very young, we were freshman type guys, but we had great continuity. All 5 of those guys started every game. Now, which was a little bit of a double-edged sword because I thought they played too many snaps and we wore down a little bit as the season went. This year, we come in with a whole lot more depth, but we can't get any continuity because of injuries and so forth. I think last week there were 14 scholarship guys out, and we got 4 linemen out, and guys that would really have helped us. But and then you got COVID, you got all these things, and so it's been kind of a musical chairs, and that's not a position that you want to have a lot of musical chairs. That's a position where you need some continuity, That's like the first 3rd and 1 was a total miscommunication. We had two guys were running. We had one player get the wrong call for some reason, and he affected another player. So we had 3 guys running one play and 2 guys running another play. And it's just, you know, again, that's continuity, that's playing together, you know, it's all those type of things, and that's what we're working through here. And so hopefully the second half of this season, I mean, we got 6 games left to go, man. We got a lot of football left. And, you know, as I always say, man, nothing less important than score at halftime. I mean, we got a lot of ball left, and hopefully we can, you know, the BC game, we really got excited because we really saw that continuity for the real first time this year and really settled in, and communication was great, really played well. The good news is we're running the football well. That's the positive. If you want a positive, like we're running the football. The first couple of games, people said, run it. Well, we weren't running the ball well. Now we're running the ball well, and we're creating a lot of opportunities in the passing game. We're not finishing plays. You know, we're making the miraculous plays, and then we're not making the layups consistently. So, you know, that's kind of the next step. But I'm really pleased with what we're doing in the running game. I mean, I think we're averaging 4.3 yards a carry, which is exactly what our national championship team averaged in 2016, 4.3 yards a carry. And our 2011, 12, 13, 14 team, we're averaging more than all those teams in yards per carry. And those teams all won 10-plus games, finished top 15 in the country. So we're doing some good things. We've made some improvement, but we just haven't been able to put it all together. And but at some point we will, and we'll build on it. And but you know, we got what we got, and we gotta make it work. And again, we got all we need. We got all we need to be a great football team.
Does Whipple, what's your take on him as a schemer, and does he do more formationally than a lot of the teams you?
I mean, does a great job. I mean, you just, you know, they do a good job of creating some matchups. You know, they know who their best players are, and they're going to do everything they can to create some matchups for those guys and some one-on-one opportunities. And you know, they're a pass-first offense, but they're going to keep you on. They want to be physical, and they're going to keep you. They're going to keep you honest on the run game for sure. But you know, he knows who his best players are. And like any coach, you're going to feature that, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to put the ball in that number 8's hands. You know, that's who's getting it, and he's schooled up and he's well equipped. You know, that's where he does his best coaching. He's well equipped on how to manage the game because the coach is on the sideline. You know, and he really knows how to manage the game. He knows how to get them in the right plays. He's equipped with some check with me's and some packages and things like that. But again, they'll do a good job, whether it be in their empty package or formationally, in creating some matchups, you know, that they want.
Can you share anything about Joseph Charleston's decision to transfer?
Yeah, I just came to me last week and said that, you know, he just feels like he wants to, you know, get a fresh start somewhere. And, you know, again, it's always disappointing, but I'm just kind of numb to it, you know, now. I mean, that's just 2021. I mean, that's probably going to be news every week. Eventually, y'all going to quit reporting it. It's just going to be like oh, and by the way, because that's the world we've created. It's the world we're living in now. But, you know, I love Joseph. I mean, I think he's a really good player, like a really good player. He's had a lot of unfortunate, you know, issues and situations, and he's had injuries. He missed a lot of camp this fall. He's battled a hamstring, and he's had a lot of things. And then, you know, other guys have taken advantage of opportunities, and, you know, he just felt like that. You know, again, you'd like to see him finish and see what happens, but again, everybody's got to make their own decisions, and that's the world we're in today. So he wants to take this time and figure out what he wants to do, because he wants to go somewhere in January. He's a great kid, love his mom and dad. I mean, just super people, and you know, thankful. You know, had a couple years with him, and hopefully we helped him, but just have to wish him well.
Do you have enough data on the one-year waiver now being in place that's getting in the kids' heads more? If any conversation with other head coaches maybe come up before the game when you're chatting about, in terms of trying to retain your roster? I mean, is this one-year waiver even made the ball roll faster down there?
1 year waiver.
Transfer, to being able to go play.
I don't think that's a 1 year waiver. I think that's for the rest of life. That's for, you know, forever.
In other words, you can go play right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
That's a. You mean like waiver of the ineligible set out? Yeah.
In other
I
words,
thought you
now
meant.
you can go transfer.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think that's even sped up?
I thought you said like a 1 year waiver for us legislatively.
No,
You know.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt. No question about that. I mean, you know, that's the world we've created and the world we've lived in, and it's going to be every school is going to deal with that. Every single school out there will deal with it a lot. And in some cases, it's you know, I think there's a right time for that stuff, you know, but I think that you know, it's not always the best thing, you know, and we've again, that's what's been created, and we gotta make it work.
You talked on Sunday about a Joe's missed block on that Davis Allen screen. You talked a lot in fall camp about how he was one of the most improved guys. I mean, is the details in terms of like a situation like that, blocking, things like that, what's held him back?
Not much of a detail. You block the guy in front of you. That's very simple. Not much of a detail in that. You know, just do your job. And he did some good things, but you know, you just can't even explain that. Can't even explain it. So, you know, just every single play you have a job to do. There is no off play. And again, he's not a complete player. He's gonna be a great one. But it's just, you know, there are no off plays, and you got a job to do every single play. You're either blocking somebody, getting your hands on somebody, running a route, full speed. There's no in between. And, you know, just frustrating, you know, situation there. But again, that's just one play. We got 25 plays just like that. That's our biggest problem offensively, is getting 11 guys consistently doing their job. And so ultimately, you know, player performance is all on coaches. So it's all on me. There's no at all. That's just the way it is. I'm responsible for what you see. And so nobody more frustrated than myself.
Yeah, but with some of the drops and with the blocking stuff that you mentioned, have you spent any more extra time with the receivers this week, kind of being more hands-on?
I spend time with everybody, defensively, offensively. I spend time with everybody on this roster. But you know, it's not just the receivers. It's everywhere. It's just a funk. It's just a stink, and we got to get rid of it. You know, lingering in the car, and we got to get rid of it. It's like Seinfeld. Y'all remember that Seinfeld show where the stink was in the car and you couldn't get rid? I don't remember which one. It just pops in my head right here. That's what we got. Oh my Lord, man! But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. The good news is we're still Clemson, and the good news is we got a bunch of great kids, and we got a bunch of great people. And again, we're in a little bit of a funk, but we got to play our way out of it, and we will, and we'll look back on this, and it'll be a great conversation somewhere down the road. A few years from now, we'll be saying, God, y'all remember how bad we stunk those first 6 games? You know, we'll get it going. We'll get it going. We got a lot of challenges, but everybody has challenges. Everybody has things that they got to deal with, and you know, it's frustrating because it's not something that we're used to around here. I mean, it's just not. You know, and so, but we'll get it turned around.
Tony said that yesterday that this offense doesn't have the leadership of some of its predecessors. Who are some of the guys you're looking to sort of elevate that presence as leadership?
Everybody on the field is a leader to me. I ain't looking to everybody. You're on that field, you're a leader, and you know, we need everybody to just take ownership of what they can do to, you know, help us get better. And you know, you be a leader by being detailed. You be a leader by knowing and doing your job, full speed. You be a leader by making the plays that are there. So everybody's a leader. It's not on any one person. It's on all of us.
At the time, Brent and Tyler couldn't celebrate the interception, but could you, after the fact, as a dad, especially kind of appreciate that a father-son moment that's pretty cool that doesn't necessarily take place?
Yeah. Oh, that was great, man. It was a huge play. It was a huge play, and Tyler's really had a good year for us. I mean, he's a smart kid. We can do a lot with him. He's kind of our putty guy. He can play a lot of different positions, and there's a whole lot more. He's just a redshirt freshman. You know, we didn't even count last year. So this kid's got a lot. He's got a lot in front of him. He can run. He's physical. Sometimes a little too physical. You know, a big penalty there, 3rd and 12, but. You love his tenacity, and he's got excellent ball skills. You know, he played quarterback in high school, so he knows the game and just, you know, understands things on the back end, kind of like a quarterback. And proud of him. That was a huge. That was one of the things we talked about in the game was red zone defense, and that was a huge play in that game. And then we went on and went and scored. You know, we got points off of that. So 2 weeks in a row we've gotten points off of turnovers, and that'll be a key in this game. You know, continuing. That's another positive. We've won the margin 2 weeks in a row, and you know that's we can continue to, you know, win the margin, continue to play well in special teams, continue to play well on defense. We'll get it put all together, and we'll like the result when it happens.
Have you had a chance to talk to Brent about that kind of proud moment, though? Just
no, not really. Just, I mean, we celebrated on the sideline and talked about it when we watched the tape and, you know, all that, but that's about it.
Devil, one of the national writers used your name in connection with LSU, saying that the AD there wants to swing big and is likely to.
I'm going to tell them to call you, and you be the middleman, okay? I'm telling them to call philkornblut.com. We'll go from there. How about that?
Big and try to reach out to big-time coaches.
I'm a big-time coach. Wow. I made a big-time list? Wow.
Just want to go ahead and take your name and wipe my name out of there right now.
I'm going to tell them to call you. I'm going to let you either. You going to negotiate that? Okay. All right. Yeah, this is the only Death Valley I'm concerned about right here. That's for sure. All right.
Anything else for folks in the room? Anything from Zoom?
Hey, Dabo, this is Gene Cobb from Charleston. As you mentioned, you know, the first trip to Pitt, they joined the ACC way back in 2013. Would you like to see a little more variety in the ACC schedule rotation?
Way back in 2013. Man, making me feel old, Gene. Did you say the rotation? Yeah, I've said that many years. I think you'd have to kind of figure out a different way on the what do you call it? The crossover rival, I guess. I guess for us that's Georgia Tech. You'd have to kind of do away with that, and so there might have to be a little bit because I know that could affect some teams, but. I personally would like to see that and just kind of see a little more of a rotation. But it gets hard though in these conferences. They're getting big, and you know what? In a few years we're having, I think, a different conversation. So I'm not sure it's really going to matter.
Hey, Dabo, David with ESPN. I'm not going to ask you about transfers, so.
Oh, call philkornblut.com.
I did want to ask you, though, to kind of follow up on that a little bit. What do you make when a coach wins a national championship and less than 2 years later he's out? Is there problems in terms of our expectations and the way that this works? If you can win a national championship and can't even last 2 more years before people want to make a change?
I mean, there's not anything that surprises me. I mean, there's not much patience anymore. I mean, that's just, and again, there's mitigating factors to everything. I don't know. There's always extenuating circumstances and things like that. I don't know other people's business. I have no idea, why people make decisions that they make. But I do know this. Some of the greatest coaches that we've ever had, ever, weren't very good, early, or maybe the consistency wasn't there. And I mean, you can do your own study on that, but I think that's pretty well documented. So, it's a tough business, that's for sure. And that's why, I'm proud of the national championships, and hey, we've been to 6 playoffs in a row, and that's never been done by anybody. It's hard to do. It's hard to win. Hopefully maybe the Clemson people have a little more appreciation for that this year. It's hard to win. That's one thing. That's another positive with our group. We've had 4 one-possession games in a row, and our kids just battle their butts off and find a way. But it's very, very hard to win. But the biggest thing for me, national championships are great, but it's just the consistency that we've had for, a decade. I mean, we've been incredibly consistent on and off the field. And that's the thing that I think everybody wants, but that's really hard to achieve. And, we've had some challenges within those times, but we've just been a very consistent program. And that's what I've always focused on. It's not a team, not just that team, but really always being, program focused. And, that has served us well and will continue to serve us well. I mean, it's just that's the world we live in. So it comes with the territory, and I think everybody knows that. When you get into coaching.
Anything else for Coach? 6 games in, what's your assessment of how DJ's handled the design run portion of the offense?
He's done well. He's gotten better and better. I mean, I think that's certainly helped us, and it's helped him. I think he's done a nice job. He really has. He's made some big plays for us, and just going to continue to get better. It's still, a part of his game that I think he's improving in. But and again, continuity up front and all those things has a little bit to do with that too. But been proud of him. He's done some good stuff, man. From where he was when he started this year to where he is right now, he has worked his tail off, and he's in a good place. He's in a good place, and again, we just got to be a little better around him in some areas, and get the continuity and the rhythm that we need. And I think he'll be fine. I mean, the play action that we dropped across the middle, wide open. Man, you watch him in the pocket right there, and just was really, really impressive what he did. And, that's going to be a 50, 60, yard plus play. And we don't make the play. And so, but evaluating him, everybody focuses on not making a play, but evaluating him and how he's grown with his pocket presence, his accuracy, and his run game stuff. I mean, he's done some good things. He's, like I said, he's heading in the right direction. He graded really well and played his best game again, and found a way to win. So there'll be a lot of good days from DJ as he continues forward.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.